Allow me to show you using numbers and patterns how history repeats. I will use two main parts to paint one big picture: three major religions and the presidents of the United States. Now I'm going to compare them with Bible prophecy. In this part, the three major religions: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. But the root language, as we know, comes from Hebrew. But I want you to keep this in mind: the consistent pattern of the prophetic numbers 50 and 100. Now, Israel, America, and Islam are connected through history and prophecy. Israel/Jerusalem is the apple of God's eye, and America is blessed as long as we stand with Israel. But the U.S. has already betrayed Israel. Freemasonry/Islam and Roman Catholic teachings were used in shaping the America we now see. Watch.
1897, the very first Zionist conference looking for a homeland for the Jewish people. 1897 plus 50, and we find that in that 50th year, 1947, the newly formed UN voted in favour of a homeland for the Jews in Palestine. We add 50 years to 1947, and again we discover during that 50th year, 1997, we find the first ever Pan-Arabic conference with a view to recapturing the land from the Jewish people. That's interesting. Every 50 years, during that 50th year, a major conference regarding the Jewish people and their homeland. But did you notice? The first conference was held by the Jews. The second conference held by the Gentile or Western nations. The third conference was held by all the Arab nations. Three major conferences held by three distinct groups: Jews, Western Gentiles and Arabs, each one taking place exactly during that 50th year, 50 years apart. So, 1917, the Ottoman Empire falls and Great Britain takes control of Palestine. So we add 1917 and 50 years, and we come to 1967. During that 50th year, 1967, we find the Six-Day War, when Israel captured the old city of Jerusalem for the first time in over 2,000 years. So there is a sequence here. The first war, the Gentiles capture Jerusalem. The second war, the Jewish people capture Jerusalem. Two major wars in which the center prize is Jerusalem, each war 50 years apart. First the Gentiles capture Jerusalem, second the Jews capture Jerusalem. We have 1897, the first Zionist conference looking for a homeland for the Jewish people. Add 50, we come to 1947, when the United Nations meet and vote in favour of giving the land to the Jewish people. We add 50 to that, we come to 1997 with a Pan-Arabic conference with a view to taking the land away from the Jewish people. 1917, we have a war during which Jerusalem is captured by the Western Gentile nations. We add 50 years to that, 1967, and we have a war when Jerusalem is taken by the Jewish people. But there is now another anomaly. All these events run in a 20 and a 30-year cycle. 1897, the Zionist Conference, plus 20 comes to 1917, the date when Allenby marched into Jerusalem and the Western nations took Jerusalem. Add 30 years, you come to 1947, when the United Nations voted in favour of giving the land to the Jewish people. Add 20 years, you come to 1967, when the Jewish people once again were in control of their ancient city of Jerusalem for the first time in 2,000 years or more. Plus 30 years, 1997, when we have the Pan-Arabic Conference looking for ways to take the land back from the Jewish people. If the pattern holds true, the next date is 2017, when, according to the cycle, there should be a war in the Middle East where the Jews lose at least part of Jerusalem. And God in Leviticus went on to issue a warning to them that if they did not follow his rules, his laws, his guidelines, he would punish them severely. He said, I will also do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, and the burning ague that shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of heart. And ye shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it. And I will set my face against you, and ye shall be slain before your enemies, and they that hate you shall reign over you, and ye shall flee when none pursueth thee. God is saying, if you do not obey me, I will punish you.
These patterns connect the three religions together and the numbers 50 and 100. History is repeating through Bible prophecy. We know the 9/11 attacks were linked to the Arabs/Muslims, and ISIS also consists of Arab/Muslim/Islamic terrorism. But America's hands is the bloodiest. So, we have three religions attacking each other, but one is attacking them all. This brings me to the Pope. If we look at popes as kings without kingdoms, this fits the 7 kings in Revelation 17:10-11. John Paul II suffered a wound that was healed. Pope Francis is Pope number 8, counting from 1922. That will be 100 years in 2022. That makes him the 8th and of the 7. Now, where have you heard this before? Revelations, the beast. The Pope is received all over the world. He has more power than the president. Can the president go all over the world? No. If you look at the history of the former Soviet Union at the beginning of 1917, you will find a similar pattern to the U.S. presidents and the three religions. When you combine this with the pattern of the presidents, you will start to understand just how bad things are about to get and how it all comes together using Bible prophecy.